I want to transition back to a point that you made about Julia's experience. Let's get her involved in this conversation. You two started dating around what year?
2019.
December 2019. December 2nd.
October.
Oh yeah, October.
Got it.
Yeah, October.
And so you started coming with him to the comedy shows, and you experienced me.
Well, I was actually coming to the comedy club years before that.
Okay.
Yep. And
So-
yeah.
That excited me that she was already familiar with Dead Crow and had already been to open mics. I was like, oh, you've been to open mics.
I was almost there every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to hear about your arc in experiencing, like how we describe like the quality of the scene.
Yeah.
Like you talk about it broadly, and then you can talk about your arc in terms of your views on me. Because I'll give a little backstory here for the audience. Julia messaged me on Instagram a little over, like maybe 2 years ago, and filled me in on this because I found it so interesting that essentially she told me, I have a lot of people that tell me they really can't stand me at first.
Yeah. And
then later they get to know me and they're like, oh, okay, you're not actually like that. But I feel like your story is kind of an extreme example of that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I won't give any more backstory, but this is really fascinating.
Yeah. You and I actually had interacted quite a few times. You probably just don't remember because there's a lot of people at the comedy club. And I really enjoyed your comedy the first time that I saw, or the first few times that I saw you. And then I came down with some friends that we also came almost every Tuesday to watch some comedy. And I think you had done a film that was very triggering to everyone in the group. And
was it the one about the autistic son? Okay, it was that one. Okay,
yes.
The Chris Spike story.
Yeah. And I just couldn't believe it. I was so shocked just because I had really enjoyed your comedy and I just didn't see it going in that direction. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then my friends were really upset and they were triggered by it. You had people that were leaving and everyone was upset. And at the time, the comedy club owner's like, these people just need to, get okay with it, essentially. I was like, this is nuts. We're never coming back, just because my group was so offended. And from then I was just like,
done.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so over Cameron's comedy. And we came back a couple times and I saw you perform again. And it's just like, you just never knew what you were going to get. Like sometimes you played it clean and I was like, oh, interesting. Maybe you turned a leaf. And then you would come back. And I'm like, oh no, this is just like part of his gig. So when Jimmy and I first met and we were going to comedy shows together, I think I mentioned, I was just like, oh, I just can't stand Cameron. I cannot. And Jimmy made it clear. He's like, oh, he's like a friend of mine. And I was like,
That's going to be a problem.
That was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I was just more like, I was like, Cameron's like, doing
he's a special boy.
He's doing it all. I was like, and he's really testing everything. He's really finding I was like, he doing the true thing that a comedian does, really testing the audience. And I was like, that's what I loved because I don't like it when everybody's laughing. I want half the people laughing, half the people uncomfortable. That's fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't know how it really progressed. I mean, I was going through my own kind of like process of awakening to who I was and going through this process of addressing triggers, which is kind of part of that, of growing and becoming self-aware and understanding your shadow aspects and all of that. And when I realized what triggers were, which is really just an opportunity to kind of like explore why you're so uncomfortable and then taking the opportunity to heal that, then I really started to appreciate those triggers coming up regardless of where it was coming from.
Right.
And I think Jimmy was exploring your YouTube one day and I just started going through the videos and I don't know what shifted or what changed, but I just got to this place where I was just so appreciative of the fact that there's someone out there. If it's not just you, I'm sure that there's some others
for sure.
That are willing. That was something I was just so fascinated by and impressed by, that you were willing to go that far. Like I could never do that. So I think it was super triggering to watch you get people so riled up. Like confrontation is not something that I am trying to engage in.
Take those social risks.
Yes. A lot of people are not willing to do that. And so it became something that I used to cringe at. And then now it's something I highly admire because a lot of people can't do it. I don't think I could do it. Watching some of the videos that you've posted on YouTube, I'm like, that's insane. You're really, really willing to make people super uncomfortable, and that comes with also a little bit of alienation. You don't,
for sure.